the electric igniters that we're using this 4th of July for our fireworks. What I'm using is some internet cable that I had laying around. I cut it into 2-foot chunks, and then I have this cool tool that will strip the outer casing off. So you have to strip the whole thing off and get the wires out. These work really well because they are twisted pairs already, and that's what you need, are 2 wires to do that. So I've got one already right here that you just untwist a little bit of the end. And we need to expose just a little bit of wire, and that goes into the electrical box that we're going to plug these into. So you just strip the ends. Clean those up. Then on the other end, you untwist it again. And on this side, we don't want them to be even. So what we'll do is cut about 1 inch off. So we've got it one side a little bit longer than the other. And then again, we're going to strip just a little bit off each end. And then what I like to do is put it into my helping hands here, and you bite it in the middle, and then you got the short one there, and you bend the tall one up out of the way. And then what we'll be using to actually get hot and ignite the fireworks is some resistor wire that I ordered online. And this is like the wire that you use in a toaster that gets red and hot. And this is really thin, so it gets super hot. And sometimes you can reuse them multiple times, but most of the time it'll get hot and break once it gets hot enough to light the fireworks. So what I've found that works best is about 3 inches. If you get it too long, it won't get hot enough. So what I do is, it's pretty thin, so it's hard to hold on to, is you want to start wrapping it on here and wrap back just a little bit to lock it in place. And you can solder this in place, or you can actually leave it. If you're going to be transporting stuff and moving stuff around, it's good to solder it. And all it takes is just a little drop of solder to get it to stay. And then you want to wrap this around the insulated part of that wire until you get to the end. And it's probably kind of hard to see because this wire is so thin. And then you want to wrap it a bunch again around the end. And like I said, you can either use this as is or put just a little bit of solder on there to make sure that it doesn't come undone. So on this one, I'll put just a little drop of solder on here, just to help lock it in place. Doesn't have to be pretty. Just a little bit more, there we go. And just like that, this is the part that's going to get hot, and that little wire will glow red. If you want to, you can also wrap in a match into that. If you're worried about the fireworks, we tested it with and without that, and it still lit the fireworks both ways. So that's how you make the igniter, and then we'll show you how it goes into the box, and then we'll also show you how it works on the fireworks.
Hi, this is Trey, and I'm going to show you how to hook up an electrical fuse to a firework. So first, you take off the tape, the fuse protector, and then you'll want to expose the fuse. Just stick it out, don't pull it out of the firework. And then we have this part of the electrical fuse that gets hot, so right here and right here, and we want that to be touching the whole fuse, so it'll look like that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some electrical tape, and we'll get a decent amount because we have to cover the whole fuse. And then we will tape this to the actual fuse. And you want to make sure, probably can't even see it. You want to make sure that it is tight to the fuse. So not what I'm doing right now. And then once you actually get it like on, you start wrapping it, and you wanna, I'll come back later and cover that up, but you wanna make sure it is tight around. So you wanna pull electrical tape and then wrap it around the fuse. And pull, make sure it's tight, and wrap around. And you can do that until the whole thing's covered, and that's how you fuse it to your firework.
All right, so we've showed how to make the igniters and how to hook them up to the cake. So what we're going to show you now is the igniter system that we're using for it. So the igniter, the system that I got is cheap. I think it was like 35 bucks on like Wish, Amazon, something like that. Came in a little plastic case that's pretty cheesy, but the thought that counts for it. So it has 3 receivers, and each receiver has 4 channels. I'll show you that here in just a second. And then it comes with a remote, and the remote is actually pretty good. And the range has been decent. We did it in our yard, and we backed up quite a bit, and it still worked. So this has channels on it, and those channels correspond with channels on the receivers. They have a little antenna. Feels like it may break at any time. It goes up, and then it's got a spot where the wires go in. This is like a speaker junction. You pull the little thing up, stick the wire in, and then that locks it in place, and you put one on each side. This does not show continuity like some other ones do, but it will show you if there is a signal to the igniter. So when you turn this on, there's a switch on the side. You'll see that it lights up, gives you a light for power, and these other lights are supposed to be for continuity, but really what they do is when you push the channel. So I'm going to hit channel 2. You'll see the light blinks and the light will flash. Make sure, yep, the lights blink and show you that it's sending the signal to that. So I have one in channel 1 right here, and you'll see when I hit channel 1 that it turns, it probably didn't show up on camera so much, it turns hot, and it actually broke our wire on that because it gets so hot this little wire breaks. But that's how it works pretty good. We'll do some videos of it working with the fireworks themselves. All right, we did a little more playing around with this. Let's see the light the way it is once I plug this in. The light gets brighter, and that actually means it does have continuity to it. And then I'll bring this in and see if I can get the camera to focus. And let me slide that back and see if it'll focus on here for us. Here. Switching between lenses. Here, I'll move it down. And then we will do the remote. So I push the 1 for channel 1. There that probably showed a little bit better on camera. All right, there we go. All right, power's on. Testing the igniter. Call that a success.